This is the Professor, CBMD PhD, and today is Sunday, May 11th, 2025. It is 7:10 and 38 seconds, p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today's research, Clergymen, UFO. So let's jump to it here. A formation of UFOs which paused made a sharp turn, then sped away and was observed February 20th, 1952, by Albert Boller, an ICAP board member. Boller currently is a pastor of the German Congregational Church, Clinton, Mass. It was an exceptionally beautiful day at Greenfield, Mass. There were no clouds and the sky was cobalt blue. Also, no wind. At 3 o'clock p.m. aboard the New York train, at the Greenfield station, took a seat away from the station and near, a window opening onto a vast expanse of sky to north and east. A minute or two afterward, my attention was drawn to the sky by a sharp flash of light about 35 degrees or more above the horizon. Looking carefully toward this flash, I was quite astonished to see three perfectly circular silver objects approaching in V formation. And an accompanying diagram, Boller added, that the UFOs were likely highly polished silver, appeared approximately 2/3, size of a full moon. They moved without vapor or smoke, trailing at approximately the speed of a second hand on a watch. At this speed and in this formation they came to a point almost overhead, but not quite, since I could still watch them from my window. There they stopped, and hovered for perhaps 10 seconds. Then I noted that the lead object was slowly reversing and appearing to pull into line, with the other two between them. After this brief shift, there was another quick motion by all three. I am not too sure just what, and they began to depart in a direction at right angles to their approach. My astonishment increased as I saw them leave, because they went with such speed, as they dwindled to specks and were out of sight, in not more than 6 seconds. I could not tell whether they made any noise, as there was such a racket about the station. However, I doubt that they did, since nobody standing on the station platform seemed to be aware of them. I first tried to fit it into the conventional balloons, jets, etc., but it just would not fit. Obviously they were not planes, and on second thought, they were just as obviously not balloons. We were driving south on Lee Road, on our way to the Cleveland Hopkins Airport, just at dusk, shortly after crossing Fairmount Boulevard. Our attention was attracted to a row of bright lights in the sky directly ahead over Lee Road. Mrs. Hoffman saw them approaching on an arc course, and stopped. We watched the lights as we drove, speculating the while on what they were, and continued on crossing North Park and Shaker Boulevard. At a point on the south side of Shaker Boulevard, we stopped the car in order to get a better look at them. We could then discern that the lights were coming from a huge oval-shaped object, similar in appearance to two saucers, the uppermost inverted, and resting on the edges of the lower one. Around the portion of its perimeter visible to us were 8 large windows, from which shone an intense white light. It was a light shining from these windows that we had first seen. Viewed from this point, the strange object appeared to be hovering almost directly over the Vaughan-Atkin-Lee intersection, at a height we estimated as not being over 500 feet. From the fact that it filled the sky above the highway beyond the width of the street, we felt it must have been close to 100 feet in diameter. At this point, which was our closest approach to the craft, we were in all probability not more than half a mile away from it. The body appeared to be metallic, and it was of a light green color. Similar in appearance to weathered aluminium, Mrs. Hoffman described it as being a purely aluminium color. The windows were clearly defined, as were the dark spaces between them. We estimated that each window must have been at least 8 feet by 10 feet in size, with a 2-foot space between them. An intensely white glow or beam of light shone steadily downward from each window at about 45-degree angle. The light rays were so bright that we could see the air, dust in them. We watched it for about 10 minutes, then started the car and drove south on Lee Road, hoping to get under it. When we were at Fernway Road, it began to slip westward, over the treetops. It moved slowly and noiselessly and did not appear to rotate. It disappeared from view, the trees blocking our vision. When we reached the Vaughan-Atkin intersection, which is an open area, within a matter of a minute or less, The object had completely disappeared. Hoffman then described their mental reactions to the experience. We decided that it would be best to keep the matter to ourselves, since we felt it might have certain undesirable repercussions if it were made public, our principal concern being the possibility of ridicule and disparagement. As time passed, and we heard and read of other persons having seen strange lights and objects in the skies, our feelings underwent a change. This video was created for educational purposes only. Codename Will, Professor Christopher Brunet, Leader of Research, Scientist, Ufologist, Psychic, Computer Programmer, Computer Technician, Philanthropist, Writer, Mathematician, Artist, Photographer, Film Producer, Chef, Animal, and Nature Lover. Passion, World Peace. Hope you enjoyed listening. Until next time, have an excellent day.